Hi everyone! Back again with me. How are you, the loyal viewers who have been waiting for mystery stories that cannot be explained using logic? Take it easy. The movie we're going to review this time is called Absent, which was released in 2011. The story centers on a woman named Trisha, who is still searching for the whereabouts of her husband who has mysteriously disappeared over the years. Curious about the storyline? Let's go straight to the full discussion. Don't miss out on other interesting videos. The story begins with Trisha renewing the search poster for her husband, Daniel, who has disappeared for 7 years without a trace. Back then, Daniel left as usual for work, but since that day, he never returned home.
Oh, so sorry, did I keep you?
Trisha felt a little comforted when her sister, Kelly, came to visit. However, Kelly was shocked when she saw Trisha's condition, which turned out to be heavily pregnant, even though her husband had disappeared 7 years ago.
No, I'm fine with my...
They were immersed in a warm conversation, sharing pleasant childhood memories. However, in the middle of the conversation, Kelly couldn't contain her curiosity and finally asked, how could Trisha be pregnant if Daniel had disappeared for so long? With a resigned tone, Trisha explained that she could no longer contain her desire as a woman. Finally, she chose to accept the seed drop from another man. And now, she plans to have Daniel's death officially registered, as her years-long search has yielded no leads from the police. Kelly, who was still curious, then asked further about what really happened between Trisha and Daniel before he disappeared. Trisha finally confessed that before the incident, they had been involved in a big fight. However, she also emphasized that despite their disagreement, Daniel was a responsible person and always tried to improve their relationship. As bedtime approached, Trisha was seen sitting cross-legged holding a bushel, trying to calm her mind through meditation. In another room, Kelly, who is known to be a devout Christian, was seen solemnly performing her nightly prayers. However, in the middle of the silent night, Trisha suddenly woke up with a strange feeling, as if someone was watching her from inside her room. But as it turned out, it was just a nightmare, a traumatizing image that had haunted her since losing Daniel. The next morning, Kelly decided to fill her free time with a leisurely jog around the housing complex. In the area, there was a dark alley that was often used as a shortcut by pedestrians. After enjoying the view of the city that was getting light, Kelly decided to return home. However, when he returned through the alley, he was creeped out when he saw a homeless person who was sleeping in the middle of the alley. In a state of panic, Kelly wanted to get away immediately, but the man, who claimed to be named Walter, actually looked happy and tried to invite him to change places for some reason. Kelly, who was scared to death, immediately ran away and returned home. Arriving home, the atmosphere becomes tense when Kelly enters in a state of trembling and fear. Trisha hurriedly calms her sister down and introduces her to a detective named Ryan, who turns out to be the investigator who handled Daniel's disappearance in the first place. Even so, Kelly is not a naive girl. She immediately noticed an unusual closeness between her brother and Detective Ryan.
We're fine.
All right. Bothering you? Break out my taser.
I know what you're about.
Lord, please help me get my shit together.
night fell again. And like the nights before, Trisha began to feel restless. Just as she was about to lie down, she was startled by something absurd. The door to her room slowly opened, with no one behind it. The next day, Trisha and Kelly were seen visiting a lawyer's office to take care of inheritance rights and obtain permission to sell the house. With Daniel officially declared dead by the authorities and the case closed, this step was part of Trisha's effort to start living a new life. A secretary named Ayu greeted them and told them that all of Trisha's documents and requirements were complete. She was asked to sign a letter handing over the title of the house. But when the pen touched the paper, Trisha was shocked again. Daniel's face appeared in front of her, as if refusing to be forgotten. Trisha tried to calm herself down and face the fear that haunted her. After all the administrative processes were completed, Trisha decided to move house. She felt it was time to leave the past behind and build a new, calmer life. As a symbolic gesture, Trisha took off her wedding ring, a sign that she was ready to let go of her memories of Daniel. While organizing her belongings, Kelly finally got the courage to ask directly about her sister's relationship with Detective Ryan. Trisha was finally honest that the child she was carrying was the result of her relationship with Ryan. Hearing that, Kelly was not angry or disappointed. Instead, she gave her sister her full support so that she could move on. She even helped Trisha choose the best outfit for her date with Ryan later that night. However, the atmosphere turned tense again. While trying on clothes, Trisha again saw Daniel's face, this time appearing faintly from the closet. His eyes stared sharply, as if holding unrevealed anger.
Detective.
Late in the afternoon, Ryan came to pick Trisha up. He invited her to have dinner at Oz Cafe, a new place that was a hit in the city. Trisha tried to relax and felt that this was the first step to really move on. But all that collapses in an instant. Before she has time to enjoy her new moment, Daniel suddenly appears in front of her eyes, after 7 years of disappearance.
Except to say first that I'm not doing...
Arriving at the hospital, Trisha was given the news that Daniel's condition was actually not too worrying. The doctor stated that Daniel was only experiencing nutritional deficiencies due to a long period of time without proper intake. After confirming that her husband was in a stable condition, Trisha immediately contacted her in-laws to inform them that Daniel had returned, or rather, reappeared in a limp and mysterious state. It didn't take long for Daniel's parents to come to see him. But before the family meeting could take place, a team from the police showed up to dig up more information about Daniel's enigmatic disappearance. With a confused face and blank stare, Daniel was only able to say that he was in another world. This statement certainly made the investigators confused, because there was no logic that could explain what the other dimension he was referring to meant. As time passed, Daniel, who had returned, looked very scared when passing through the tunnel in the complex area where they lived. The fear was so extreme that he couldn't help himself, even wetting his pants on the spot.
His parents will be here tomorrow.
In the midst of this strange atmosphere, Detective Ryan and his assistant returned. This time, they intend to conduct a further examination of Daniel, especially after getting a surprising medical report from the hospital. When Daniel finally calmed down a bit, an interrogation was conducted. The team of doctors found something unusual. The X-ray results showed that there were pieces of animal bones inside Daniel's body. A finding that left everyone speechless. Not only that, but investigators also confirmed that the clothes Daniel was wearing when he was found were the exact same clothes he was wearing when he was first reported missing 7 years ago. This further raised a big question mark. Where exactly had Daniel been all this time? But Daniel could only sob, unable to give a reasonable explanation. His tears flowed, as if holding trauma and secrets that he could not reveal. Before leaving the hospital, Ryan had conveyed his intentions to Trisha. He invited her to meet privately that night, at 10 o'clock, to discuss the continuation of their relationship. But the evening turned emotional. When they were back at home, Trisha showed Daniel's death certificate, which had been considered a symbol of closure for the past. Daniel stared at the paper in disbelief. But Daniel's shock is compounded when he realizes that Trisha is now heavily pregnant. Trisha's anger finally exploded. She vented all her disappointment and frustration towards Daniel, who had left without a trace and now appeared just like that, as if nothing had happened. But beneath the anger, Trisha's love for Daniel has not been completely extinguished. Even though she is now pregnant with another man's child, her heart still leaves room for the person she has been waiting for. One night, Trisha received a call from Ryan asking her to meet immediately. Without much thought, she rushed out of the house and met Ryan at the agreed place. Once met, Ryan invited her to have a serious conversation, 4 eyes in a lonely parked car, like a pair of teenagers looking for warmth in the middle of the cold night. In a serious tone, Ryan expressed his decision. He would no longer pursue Trisha, especially now that Daniel had returned. He didn't want to be labeled as a homewrecker. However, as a responsible man, Ryan promised to remain present for the child Trisha was carrying, a child who was his own flesh and blood. Hearing that, Trisha could only look down. She apologized, because their relationship did not seem to have God's blessing. Everything felt more complicated and full of wounds. When separation is inevitable, Ryan tries to convey a final warmth, a kind of farewell in the silence of the night.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, at home, Kelly is shocked to find Daniel suddenly in her room. But this time, Daniel's demeanor is even more strange and alarming. With a trembling voice, he claimed to be being hunted by a terrible creature, an entity with a human form but scaly skin like a fish. Daniel claimed that the creature had been chasing him since he returned from the other side. Before Kelly had time to digest Daniel's words, his gaze was drawn to a black figure crawling slowly towards the bathroom. A creepy figure, as if coming out of a nightmare, which made Kelly's blood freeze instantly. Elsewhere, Trisha, who had just returned home, was puzzled when she found her door open. Strangeness after strangeness kept coming. She became increasingly suspicious that something much bigger was stalking her family. A few moments later, Kelly finally had the courage to tell what she had experienced. With a trembling voice, she claimed to have seen Daniel being chased by a long-haired, jet-skinned female creature, an entity that had emerged from a mysterious portal located in the middle of their compound's tunnel. Now everything began to point to one point, the tunnel. A place that has been taken for granted, it seems to hold a dark secret. But, what was the creature that actually came out of there? Is it some kind of mysterious entity? After Kelly explained her horrific experience, unfortunately, not everyone believed her. Even the authorities thought he was delirious, or worse, under the influence of alcohol. Early in the morning, Kelly, overcome with curiosity, decided to investigate on her own. She began searching for information on cases of mysterious disappearances, hoping to find patterns or clues that would lead to answers. After surfing online for a while, she finally found something that made her hair stand on end.
Lambert lived 3 doors down from us.
With a serious look on his face, Kelly showed Trisha the results of his search. She showed a news article about a man named Walter, who was declared missing in 1995. Years passed without word, until in 2002, his distraught son finally declared Walter dead. But surprisingly, last week, a jogger in the tunnel area claimed to have seen a shabbily dressed old man, and upon comparison, his face bore a striking resemblance to Walter. The curious Kelly continued to dig up other information, and found a similar case from 1928. A man named Charles disappeared while going to fetch water from the river. Strangely, the river where Charles was last seen has now been converted into a tunnel in the complex where Trisha lives. A coincidence too strange to ignore. Based on the conspiracy theories Kelly had read, the tunnel was believed to hide a supernatural portal, a link between the human world and another invisible dimension. He even believes that the mysterious disappearance of tens of thousands of people in their city could have its roots there. While they were busy debating these far-fetched possibilities, there was a knock on the door. To their surprise, it was Daniel's parents who had come all the way to see their son after hearing that Daniel had returned. But their hearts were broken when they were told that Daniel had vanished before they could meet. Not long after, Trisha received some shocking news from Justin. He informed her that the police had found a body at the mouth of the tunnel. Fearing it was Daniel, Trisha immediately rushed to the scene of the crime. But upon arrival, it is revealed that the body is Walter, a man who has been missing since 1995. In the same place, Walter's now adult son James suddenly fainted upon seeing his father's body in such a terrible condition. Amidst all the chaos, night falls. Kelly, who realized Trisha was still awake, saw her sitting cross-legged, meditating while calming her mind. Kelly suggested that Trisha rest immediately, considering that it was very late. But gently, Trisha replied that she would remain strong, because now, she was not alone. She has Kelly by her side, and soon, she will be a mother. But before they could close their eyes, a strange sound suddenly echoed from the darkness of the night. The sound was not only creepy, but it also felt alien, as if it came from another world. They were shocked, especially when a dark shadow crossed the hallway. In a glimpse, a mysterious creature was seen dragging Daniel into the darkness. The figure at first glance resembled a giant piranha with a slimy body and disgusting movements. Did Trisha survive? Would the creature return to take its next victim?
Yeah, I know.
The next day, a pale-faced Kelly reported what she had just experienced. In a frightened statement, Kelly explained that Daniel had been dragged into a portal in the tunnel just like what had happened to Walter and Charles. She felt guilty, because once again, she had failed to save her brother from the creature's snare. But Kelly's hopes of getting help were dashed again. The authorities refused to believe her story, accusing Kelly of spreading unsubstantiated stories and making things worse. Even though Kelly had sworn in the name of God that everything he said was true, the officers still considered it a fictitious story. They sent Kelly back home, bored and thinking the report was a waste of time. Upon arriving home, a frustrated Kelly didn't sit still. She immediately printed out all the news articles about mysterious disappearances from different years and regions. She collected all the information in a thick envelope and gave it to Ryan in the hope that he could finally see that there was a real pattern to all this, not just coincidence or delusion. After much prayer, Kelly finally steeled her heart. She knew the only way to save Daniel was to enter the portal itself. She was prepared to commit an insane act, swapping her own soul, as long as her sister, Trisha, who was now pregnant, could be freed from the creature's clutches. His steps were drawn to the tunnel that had been a silent witness that night. Determined, he recalls Walter's last request, and devises a desperate plan to swap places with Trisha to save the only family he has. It turned out that the creature was far more cunning than Kelly had imagined. Instead of exchanging himself with Trisha as planned, the vile creature exchanged souls with the baby still in Trisha's womb. A betrayal that left Kelly's noble plan in ruins. She panicked, shook, and tried to fight back, but it was too late. Elsewhere, Ryan, who had refused to trust Kelly, is now starting to be hit by deep regret. He finds Kelly's research results containing odd notes about the tunnel, notes that now feel all too real. One of the notes even warns, avoid this tunnel complex, no matter what. As time went on, the initially skeptical and stubborn police began to soften. Those who had never found a logical trace of this case finally admitted that there was something that could not be explained by logic. Slowly, the truth that Kelly was trying to convey began to be recognized. Unfortunately, it was too late. Now it is not only Trisha who has disappeared, Kelly has also disappeared somewhere, as if swallowed by an alien dimension invisible to human eyes.
Things that happened.
Guilt haunts Ryan. He is seen distributing flyers about missing people, with Trisha and Kelly's faces clearly displayed in every corner of the city. But the strange events are not over yet. While in the vicinity of the tunnel, Ryan suddenly saw the figure of Kelly standing still in the shadows. Her face was pale, her eyes blank, like, not her anymore. Ryan was stunned, unsure if it was real or just a false image. But Kelly didn't speak, she just looked out at the real world from the other side of the portal, as if trapped in a dimension she couldn't leave. The story ends with irony. Instead of saving Trisha, Kelly is trapped in another world, while the soul of the baby in the womb has been taken by a fish-scaled creature, a mysterious figure from the old tunnel. And in accordance with an unfair agreement. According to the story, the tunnel used to be a river where people fetched water for their daily needs. But legend has it that a terrifying entity inhabits the riverbed, a creature fond of dragging humans into another world. After the river was closed and made into a complex shortcut, the mysterious portal apparently remained open. And since then, around 100,000 people have mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Kelly, with noble intentions, is the latest victim, or perhaps, just one of many souls still to come. That's all from us. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like this video if you like it. See you in the next video.